Right, hey guys, how we doing? Back another video from, excuse me, Super Eye Patch Wolf, and we are checking out the bizarre world of fake martial arts. I thought I'd go back, check out a load of stuff that he's not, well, that I've not seen before. Always very interesting, very entertaining, always very well presented videos. And if you want to watch my reactions to these things early, click that join button. But yeah, let's get into this.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
Oh God, okay.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the...
Oh my God, what? Okay.
One of my favourite things about this job, besides the legions of adoring fans and crippling existential crises, is the occasional opportunity that comes with stumbling across a weird, baffling internet hole and seeing just how
Far it goes.
deep and dark it goes.
Nice.
And friends, let me welcome you to the strange world of fake martial arts.
Alright.
What I mean by fake is everything from the unusual techniques of mail-order karate dojos to the fabled pressure point knockouts of dim mock masters.
It's just so bizarre. Like, why? Like, and so many people get in on it. Oh, I can't wait.
All the way up to the near superhuman abilities of the no-touch KO artists. And if you've never
The no-touch KO artists. Oh my God.
seen this stuff, it is real, as in at least some of the people involved believe it is happening.
Yeah, but who? Do the people that it's happening to think it's happening to them? Are they not in on it? Like, what? Oh my God.
And granted, the topic of fake fighting might be an ironic choice coming from someone this
Yeah, but there's still some sort of realism to the wrestling stuff. They are throwing themselves in. They are getting hit.
into professional wrestling, but martial arts have also been a pretty big part of my life. I've been doing different forms of taekwondo, boxing, tai chi, and most recently Brazilian jiu-jitsu for
God damn, brutal. It's all very brutal stuff. God damn.
about 12 years now. And hey, I'm not saying that because I'm trying to claim I'm any kind of tough guy. If anything, I
Yeah.
know just enough about fighting to know how little I know. But I do think it gives me some understanding in how a person is able to convince themselves they have these abilities and why a room full of people would be willing to believe them. And
What? So both sides. That's so weird. So the person that's doing these stupid, like, wah, thinks they can actually do it, and then everyone else is like, oh yeah, they can.
it's around here that a darker, more insidious side of fake martial arts begins to emerge.
Okay.
Which we will get to. But to start, I think it's important to understand the appeal of martial arts themselves and how and why they became popular.
Yes.
And particularly in the kung fu craze of the early 70s.
Bruce Lee.
Martial arts were first introduced to America late into World War II, when American soldiers deployed in Japan learned different forms of karate and judo, even
Alright,
having
cool.
it integrated into their basic training. And later, these same soldiers would return to America and open their own dojos.
Right.
But where martial arts really started to penetrate popular culture was the resurgence of the Hong Kong Kung Fu movie. And whatever else I'm going to talk about this video, one
Bruce
thing I want to
Lee,
make clear
Jackie
is that Kung Fu
Chan.
movies are fucking awesome. If you've never seen the likes of Drunken Master,
Yeah.
Enter the Dragon, Five Fingers of Death, or Snake in Eagle's Shadow, you should do everything you can to track them down.
Absolutely boss.
These movies are stunning physical fantasies. Stories told less through dialogue and plot development as much as they are through beautifully controlled violence.
Because this was like, was it Kill Bill with the 88? That this heavily inspired that.
Channeling the will and energy of their performers into furious bouts of physical combat, making for kinetic, exhilarating blasts of cinema. But there was also another side to the choreographed violence, as at the heart of many of these movies was a bold declaration of national identity, a deeply political message tied to these fighters. In the late 19th and early 20th century, China and Hong Kong had suffered repeated invasions and colonizations by British and Japanese armies. forces, with the Chinese people being seen as a weak, divided nation incapable of defending itself from invading forces, with the Chinese routinely referred to as the sick men of Asia. And so, when in Fist of Fury, Bruce Lee battled his way into a Japanese karate dojo before declaring, "We are not sick men," it was a moment of elation for Chinese cinema goers, as it was in the same movie when Lee obliterated a sign that read, "No dogs or Chinese allowed." This scene is key to understanding the power of these films, as across international waters, these signs also existed, albeit targeting different groups of people.
Whoa.
But in these movies, no matter how society or the powers that be viewed you, kung fu and martial arts were the great equalizer, a way not for the strong to get stronger, but for the weak to rise up, to give ordinary people the strength to stand and challenge convention, to declare, "I am here and I am relevance."
Yeah.
This was the powerful fantasy that martial arts films were built on, and what let them explode box offices
God,
and
his legs
cinemas
are so
across
freaking
America.
big.
But it was in the desire for that fantasy that gave rise to the early days of fake martial arts. Which brings us to a man who referred to himself as the Crown Prince of Death, Count Juan Raphael Dante.
Okay.
If you flick through the pages of enough Silver Age Marvel comics, you'll inevitably come across these strange advertisements of Count Dante.
Okay.
According to these ads, Dante was the master of the dim mok or poison hand fighting
Death
style.
touch.
Considered by many as evil and cruel, the lethally savage ripping, tearing, slashing, clawing, and gouging techniques, which comprise the poison hand arsenal, are used to attack by strike, touch, or pressure the nerve centers, pressure points, major blood vessels, and vital organs of the body.
God
The
damn.
pamphlet, written by Dante, offered to turn its readers into, and I quote, "shocking human horror weapons capable of killing multiple opponents with a single touch," while also talking about how handsome Dante was and how good he was at dancing. On the surface,
nice.
it seems obvious what's happening here. Count Dante, real name John Keehan, was looking to take advantage of the kung fu craze of the 70s by selling his pamphlet to gullible young comic book readers.
Makes sense.
But where things start to get strange is the more you look into Count Dante, the more it seems like he actually believed what he was writing.
No.
He did have a legitimate history of karate.
Right,
He
okay.
did own 2 dojos in South Chicago, where he and his pet lion would wander the streets with
Oh, that just brings up so many questions straight away. And who the hell keeps a pet lion?
Dante known to do things like show up at Muhammad Ali's house, challenging him to fights, offering friends pistols with which to shoot him so
No.
he could demonstrate his bullet-catching techniques. With Dante even at the center of the infamous Chicago Dojo Wars, with him attempting to blow up an enemy dojo with a stick of dynamite before carrying out a raid on an enemy training hall that resulted in the death of his friend and student Jim Constable.
Oh my god.
This all actually happens. Count Dante died in 1975, and what he left behind was the bizarre legacy of a strange man lost in a fantasy. And over
So
the
bizarre,
years,
yeah.
we'd see so many people like this. The batshit insane ninjutsu of the mail-order ninja Ashita Kim. The fake life of Frank Dukes, of whom the entire film Bloodsport was based on, before being exposed as a fraud by the LA Times. Right up to modern day, this is still happening. Which brings us to the infamous and strange no-touch master, George Dillman.
The no-touch master. Wow, a lot of people could learn lessons from this. You know what I'm saying?
Dillman first came to prominence for pioneering his pressure point knockouts, techniques that would let him render a person unconscious with only the lightest tap. But where he started to gain national attention was in his chi-based no-touch knockout
Oh, shut up.
which would let him knock someone out through blasts of invisible energy. In 2005, Dillman welcomed a team of National Geographic filmmakers into his dojo.
No way.
And after a group of successful demonstrations on his own students, a National Geographic chemist and skeptic stepped forward, offering himself up to be knocked out by the chi-based technique. And the result was nothing.
Nothing.
The chemist was completely unaffected, with Dillman's explanation as to why the no-touch knockout didn't work being just, well, baffling.
The skeptic was a totally non-believer. Plus, I don't know if I should say that on film, but if the guy had his tongue in the wrong position of the mouth, that can also nullify it. If I say I'm going to knock you out.
That's hilarious. So maybe he had his tongue slightly to the left. That's the way you defend yourself against that. Do you teach your students that? Like, why do they not do that?
And you raise one toe and push one toe down, can't knock you out.
Surprisingly, this exact same scenario took place again years later when a
God, that's
Fox News report
hilarious.
visited the dojo of Dillman's star pupil Tom Cameron, master of the same no-touch techniques and also an expert in dim mak, that's the same martial art as Count Dante, with Cameron offering to demonstrate his pressure point knockout on the tiny Fox News reporter.
God, you're scared. Relax. I'm not
Go
going
ahead,
to hurt
go.
you.
He refused to try the touchless knockout on me, saying he thought I may get hurt.
If you touch this,
Instead, he used a light tap technique to affect my nervous system. Wait, you just hit me in the head. We were less than stunned by this stun guns demonstration.
Cameron later claimed that the technique was only effective on 40% of people, despite the fact it worked on 0% of fighters at a local Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym. No one would like this stuff to be real more than me, because if this
It's
was
so cool. It would be awesome. It's like anime real. But
real, then Dragon Ball Z is real.
Yeah, exactly.
I could stop making YouTube videos.
My God.
But much to my disappointment, there's never been a single recorded case of a pressure point knockout or no-touch technique working on a resistant skeptic or in any kind of competitive contest. And the principles of energy that these techniques are based off have never been verified by any
No
kind
proof
of
of it.
scientific test. But if that's the case, then what the fuck is actually happening
yeah, what's going on? What is this? Oh, it's so confusing.
in these videos? Do these instructors really believe they have supernatural powers? And even if they do,
Why is everyone else getting on it?
why are they working on regular people?
Yeah.
And to answer the first part of that question, I want to talk about a fight that took place in 2006 between a mixed martial arts practitioner and a psychic Qigong master.
Okay.
I want to give a little warning here, just that I'm going to be showing footage that some people might find difficult to watch. I know these are meant to be contests between two trained fighters, but, well,
Sometimes they do get a little bit oof, don't they? Like the oof. Oof!
they aren't. What you're seeing here is the no-touch master Yanagi Ryukin, whose mastery of multiple styles of martial arts, along with his innate psychic abilities, allow him to fight scores of opponents while defending
Oh, this is so
himself
stupid.
with kinetic blasts of psychic energy.
What?
His abilities are so strong that he's even able to manipulate the bodies of his opponents like a marionette. And it was with these techniques that led him to be victorious in an unverified 200 Vale Tudo fights.
Shut up.
Basically, no holds barred contests. In 2006, the 65-year-old Qigong master put up $5,000 of his own money, claiming he could defeat any mixed martial arts practitioner.
I just no. Oh, this is so bad. This is blowing my brain.
A challenge that would be accepted by Iwakura Go, a Japanese journalist trained in judo, karate, and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And so the fight was set for November 26th, and in front of a crowd of 500 people.
Oh, how did this go? Did he just absolutely just beat the crap out of him?
The two fighters stepped forward to face each other, and as a hush falls over the crowd, the fight began. So, I remember
Yeah.
the first time I ever got punched in the face in a competitive spar.
It hurts. It really hurts.
And what stayed with me wasn't even the pain, but just the jarring sense of disbelief that I'd just been struck by another human.
Yeah.
And learning to get over that shock, learning how to get punched in the face, is maybe the most valuable lesson I've taken from martial arts. And what I find so disturbing about this moment is we're watching a supposed master experience that same shock for what looks like
The first
time.
Yeah.
He's in disbelief about what's just happened. The other fighter even checking if he's okay.
Whoa.
Before the fight continues and comes to a
Oh, he
brutal
can't do
and
anything.
conclusion. I don't take any pleasure in this footage.
No, at all, but it's bizarre that he put himself in that situation. Like, did he genuinely believe he could do it?
To me, we're watching an old man being violently humiliated on what has to be the worst day of his entire life. And it's pathetic and sad. I can't imagine what's going through the 65-year-old's mind as he kneels on the mat, clutching his beaten, broken face. But I also think it's hard not to watch this footage and not consider the level of delusion that brought him to this moment.
Yeah.
A delusion so strong that not even this fight could break it. Ryukin would later claim that his psychic abilities were not working that day due to an illness.
Of course.
And he has since returned to teaching martial arts, gaining new students,
Oh
and
my
propagating his
God.
untouched fighting style. And so when asking do these instructors actually believe these moves, yeah, it's likely they do. And it's probably a very simple delusion to trap yourself in when it brings a following, wealth, and status. But then, what about the students?
Yeah, what's going on there?
Why are they
There's so much confusion. Why are they going along with it?
behaving like this? And to answer that question, let's look at another phenomenon where groups of people gather in small rooms and act in strange, bizarre ways. Psychologists believe that what draws people into cults isn't a desire for spiritual fulfillment or a search for some higher power, but simple human comfort.
Okay.
A desire that
Togetherness.
cults manipulate and prey upon, exposing the greatest insecurities of their members and offering them comfort and protection from it. This was the same psychological manipulation that let Charles Manson control his followers, making them act in strange, bizarre ways and even commit murder. The same promise of comfort and community that led to the members of the Heaven's Gate cult castrating themselves before committing group suicide, leaving 39 dead.
God.
And next to that, falling over to a hokey technique is nothing. Even look at this footage of the faith healer and alleged con artist Benny Hinn, and you can imagine that if Hinn had marketed himself slightly differently, he too could have been a no-touch master. And that's because it's all the same principle. Put all your faith into this one individual and they will give you the means to guard yourself from the evils of this world.
Madness.
And in the case of fake martial arts, that evil is a primary human fear. Violence from other people. And there's a tremendous amount of comfort in that. The idea that these people can teach you techniques that will make you immune to physical danger, creating a delusion so strong it's led to the kinds of footage we've been looking at this entire video. And
Crazy.
this, friends, brings us to the troubling story of James Heydrich. James Heydrich first entered public consciousness after an appearance on the American TV show That's Incredible, in which Heydrich demonstrated his stunning telekinetic abilities, which allowed him, through psychic force, to turn the pages of a phone book, rotate pencils, and even manipulate dollar bills encased in glass.
Right.
Heydrich claimed that these were psychic abilities he'd learned from his own self-taught martial arts, combined with the teachings of a Chinese grandmaster, and also claimed that he could pass these techniques on to children through special training.
Right.
And so, through numerous television appearances and his own innate charisma, Heydrich amassed a large following of around 3,000 students,
The number's disputed, but alright. Okay.
making Heydrich's dojo the largest in North America. And one very awkward encounter with the amazing Randy aside, Heydrich seemed like the second coming of Bruce Lee, surrounding himself in a delusion that thousands of people were willing to believe in and pay him for. But in 1982, that delusion would come crashing down around him in a television special called Psychic Confession.
Psychic Confession.
The special was hosted by Danny Corman, an
Did he come out and just say it was all fake? Oh my god.
investigative journalist and part-time magician who had discovered how Heydrich was manipulating these objects, and that was through a concentrated stream of air from his nose and mouth. And so, in a televised broadcast, Corman asked Heydrich to teach him these techniques and help him harness his own psychic energy. But then, unbeknownst to Heydrich, used the same blowing air trick to move the pencil.
Whoa.
And just look at the shock on Heydrich's face as he actually believes he's experiencing genuine psychic abilities.
Oh my god. No.
Before Corman reveals to the psychic fraud what is actually happening, and Heydrich's persona of a Zen martial arts master falls away to reveal a deeply disturbed individual, as he recounts his childhood of neglect and abuse, how he'd frequently escape into delusional fantasies where ancient Chinese masters would teach him the secrets of their martial arts. If the story ended there, it would be amusing, if kind of sad, but unfortunately, 7 years later, things took a disturbing turn, as Heydrich was convicted of 11 counts of child molestation.
Oh no. Oh god. Why are they always such creeps?
All children he had lured in with the promise of his delusional powers, and then abused. This is where fake martial arts go from laughing at a group of people LARPing in a gym to something more sinister. And maybe it's not always as directly predatory as Heydrich, but that doesn't mean they aren't still dangerous in other ways. When I look in the backgrounds of a lot of these videos, I see people, vulnerable people. I see women, kids, people there to learn to defend themselves. But what they're being sold is an empty lie.
Yeah.
Something that would fail them in the potential most dire moments of their lives. And I think there's something really disgusting about that. So, at best, fake martial arts are a dangerous, hollow fantasy. But at worst, they're a way to sell a delusional narrative and prey upon innocent people. And so, to end this video, I want to talk about one of those narratives, but one that's playing out right now and on a national level.
Right, so let's note that this is 4 years old, potentially 5 years old, this video now, so it's not right now, but
I
yeah.
want to talk about the story of Xu Xiaodong.
Okay.
Xu Xiaodong is a Beijing-born radio DJ and mixed martial arts practitioner who, unwittingly, has become the center of a massive cultural war in China. One that began in early 2017, a time when the Chinese government was deep into a movement known as the Great Rejuvenation of the Chinese Nation, a cultural campaign designed to instill national patriotism in the youth of China. And one of the ways it did this was through the propagation of traditional Chinese martial arts. Through means like making mastery of Tai Chi mandatory for graduating certain Chinese high schools, as well as airing television specials that showed Tai Chi as a way to unlock a near mystical power.
Okay.
With Tai Chi masters out wrestling judo black belts, dodging the thrusts of professional level fencers, and blowing back groups of attackers with a single powerful movement. I have actually done a year of Tai Chi. Xu Xiaodong traveled to Weilei's training hall and challenged the Tai Chi master to prove his claims in an exhibition match. And in front of a crowd of onlookers, the 40-year-old MMA fighter pummeled the Tai Chi master in less than 30 seconds.
God
Xu
damn,
would
just
later refer to
goes
this match
ham.
as the fight that shook the heavens, and it did. China was left in shock by the match's outcome, but rather than validating Xu, both the martial arts community and the Chinese media were incensed by Xu's actions, accusing him of attacking China's national heritage. Xu receiving
Oh, come on. It was a fight.
over 100 challenges from enraged martial arts masters. But by Xu's own admission, he himself is nothing special. He's just a mediocre MMA fighter past his prime.
Right.
But despite this, it's obvious when listening to him speak that he has a profound love of mixed martial arts, which is a system of...
And that's interesting because, like, I did karate from the age of 7 to, like, the age of 18, 19. And I wasn't taught, like, when you start when you're younger, you learn all the traditional stuff, like the katas and the techniques and everything like that. But then it got to a point where as you're getting older, within the group, it becomes more of an actual, like, how you would use it in an actual fighting situation as self-defense. People would laugh at me at school all the time for doing karate, but then they didn't realize I was actually taught to actually defend myself. Like, we would have knife defense lessons and stuff like that as well, like legit, like, not throw around, like, literally, if someone comes at you with a fucking, plastic knife, how to keep that away from you, and then boom, and then make sure that knife is just out of the hand, on the way, on the floor kind of thing. Like, so you can do martial arts in a very effective way of, like, actually defending and fighting someone, but you see all this other stuff and it's like, that's not practical.
begins, the strikes of Shu's opponent are shown as weak and ineffective.
Yo, he just took a couple of hits to the
before they
face.
are
He's like,
bullied
whatever.
and beaten by Shu. But as these fights went on,
Whoa.
something strange started to happen. You might notice that in this fight, Shu is wearing this grotesque face paint.
Yeah.
And that's because it was dictated to him that the fight wouldn't be allowed to take place unless he wore Chinese clown makeup. And fought under the name Shu Donghua, which translates as Shu Winter Melon, insulting the guy's way. And if Shu seems especially angry in this match, it's because before the fight, his Chinese social credit score was lowered to the point that he was no longer able to use air travel or high-speed trains.
Oh my god, so the whole country is, like, against him, but he's just trying to prove a point. That's crazy.
Forcing him to take a 36-hour hard seat train ride to even attend the fight.
He still
and you might
went.
ask why Shu is being
What a legend! What a legend! He still went there. He's like, I'm gonna prove him.
treated
Wow!
like this, and the answer is that the Chinese government really wishes he wasn't doing what he is, and so a campaign of harassment, censorship, and humiliation has begun against him. He's had his gym closed down, his social media accounts deleted, he's been forced to apologize, he's been fined tens of thousands of dollars, forcing him to move out of his home, his fights have been shut down by the police, he's been accused of being a spy, and has even been harassed and ostracized. This clip showing a group of 8 Tai Chi students blocking Shu from leaving his hotel.
Oh my god.
Shu's family have even been harassed in their home, with Shu himself suffering public assault. But the most painful blow for Shu came when he was disowned by the martial arts gym he taught at for 20 years. All things he publicly spoke on in an emotionally charged live stream as the 40-year-old mixed martial artist breaks down in tears, recounting the isolation and torment he and his family have had to
Crazy.
endure.
我20年待的地方，说没就没了。我在我自己的微博上，我写我很光荣，我是什刹海的教练。
This all came to an absurd climax when, in 2018, Shu faced his most high-profile opponent yet, the Wing Chun master Ding Hao. The fight received massive media coverage, with many seeing this as the moment that Shu would finally get his comeuppance for spitting in the face of
Oh,
Chinese
please tell me he
traditional
won.
values. But to Shu, this was his biggest opportunity to prove that his claims were legitimate.
Come on.
And so, in front of an audience of millions, Hao begins the fight with a furious attack on Shu. And from here, the Wing Chun master is
Yes.
repeatedly pummeled and hurled to the ground.
Go ahead.
Each time saved by the referee.
Oh!
And
You know.
finally, after his 6th knockdown with 40 seconds left in the first round, the bell rings and the fight is signaled.
Take
to a
that, you
close.
prick.
And in what has to be one of the most embarrassingly farcical decisions in martial arts history, the match is declared a draw.
What?
I don't even really know what to say at this point. Hao later made the excuse that the studio didn't give him enough rice before the fight, resulting in his poor performance.
Didn't have enough rice. Shut up. Shut up.
And Shu is still taking on martial arts masters, remaining undefeated after 17 fights,
Sick.
and continues to endure a campaign of harassment and humiliation.
What an absolute legend.
I love martial arts,
That guy's a
held on for
legend.
very long time. For me, stepping out onto the mat and letting life's troubles fall away as you give your all against a skilled opponent, that's become a tool for me to deal with anxiety, depression, all kinds of shit. But I think even more than that, martial arts are a way for people to become more than what they are. Here's a little girl obliterating a tree with
Yo.
just her fists. Here's a guy tapping out an opponent twice his size. Here's a girl doing the same thing. With the right training and technique, martial arts can give strength to just about anyone.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really beautiful thing. But when that idea becomes distorted and manipulated,
Dangerous.
it opens up a dangerous world of delusion, trapping people, cutting them off from genuine growth. And to me, that's the opposite of what martial arts
Should be.
should be.
Yeah. Mate, that show's an absolute legend.
Friends, thank you for joining me today.
Getting
And
chills.
I really hope you got a kick out of this video. And
Yeah, it was
hey,
class.
if you did and would maybe like to express your appreciation in a dollar amount, you can head on over to patreon.com /
Mine's in the description.
SuperIPatch12.
Click the join
I want to
button.
give a
Become
shout
a
out to
member.
the channel
You get to see all my
Feist
videos
Commentary
early.
Breakdowns and the Instagram account McDojo Life for sourcing a lot of the footage I've used
So
here.
cool.
Also, I just want to mention the video Jackie Chan's Kung Fu is Fake and That's Okay by Accented Cinema. It's a really great look at modern Kung Fu and you should check it out. In particular, this video I would like to thank Dog Sprite, Stephen Chu, Michael Orr,
That was really good, that video.
Viking Roosmark, Katie
Which
Jones,
one do I watch
Emma
next?
Pineda, and Cat XD.
Which
As
bizarre
always,
video
you
do
can
I
catch me
watch
on the Let's Play the
next?
Boss
You
Video
guys
Game
tell me
podcast
in the
or on
comments down
Twitter
below.
at iPatchWolf. Friends, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.
Boom! What a video! Oh my god, that was so interesting, so cool. Like such weird like stories and stuff going on. Ah, Chew guy, die! He actually just wailed on him, and then it's a draw. Shut up. But yeah, awesome video. Really enjoyed that. Like I said, if you want to be a member and want to see all my videos early, click that join button. I think it's like 99p, so it's like 60 cents. I think that's in American money. Not even a dollar. Maybe YouTube call it $1. I don't know, but that's for a month, and you get to see all my videos early. And then whenever I do a live stream, it's got an emoji and badge exclusive to you. And if you want to I want to thank my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of your video and want to be able to watch patron-only reactions, such as the original Dragon Ball series, links in the description to the Patreon page, that is $1 a month. Thank you guys for your support. And what do you guys think of that? You guys think of this? Click like, subscribe, if you haven't already. Leave comments below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys next time.